So you've spoken very positively about the letter of intent of some virtual asset service providers here, which were given an end in their probation transitory period, and you've spoken very positively about their intention to continue. So what do you think would be the future for these service providers?
Okay, so first of all, let me explain a little bit about this transitory period. Last year, it was the 1st of October, we launched this framework here in Malta. And given the fact that we had quite a substantial number of companies who were operating in Malta, we said, okay, let's not implement that framework from day one and let's give some transitory period, and it was a one-year transitory period for those operations who are operating in and from Malta to come in line with the regulation. That period basically ended last week, and last week there was 34 companies who presented the letter of intent. The letter of intent is not just an intention. The letter of intent is the first draft of the application. So basically it is like a pre-application process. And in just a matter of days now the real application will be presented through the MFSA, and the process would start for these, hopefully, applicants will get their license to operate in Malta.
How long will this take, the entire process, for this to be able to be fulfilled?
Sure. We have to appreciate that this is the first time that this process is being done, not only in Malta but in the world. There are other jurisdictions who are mentioning that they are licensing operations. We could have taken that route too. We could have issued a license in a matter of weeks, but we know that's not the way forward. If you want to get along, if you want to get a long-term strategy, a long-term substance, a long-term license, our structure is the best structure. We know that when international authorities would start to regulate more in this industry, we know that the easiest jurisdiction that are granting license in a very short period of time without the relative due diligence will not exist anymore. It will just vanish because it will not be in line with the international standards. What we have done in Malta here is a serious and robust legislation. If you pass our test, which is not easy, but if you pass our test, it's a guarantee that you are there to stay for the long term.
That's amazing, and I love what you said about substance and long-term strategy. So what do you think will be the immediate impact once this has been fulfilled, you've given licenses to these service providers? What will be the immediate impact for the country, for the economy?
Yeah, for the economy, obviously, there's an immediate impact in terms of economic growth, in terms of contribution to the economy. Rather, I would be more interested in having to look at the growth of the industry, of the ecosystem, to continue to enrich our ecosystem. As a country, we are doing well in terms of economic growth. We've been enjoying 7% economic growth for the past 3 to 4 years, economic surplus. We've been reducing taxes here in Malta, utility bills. We've been bringing positive change to the people. So we were not looking for something for the short-term game. We are looking for something for the long term. And what we are looking now is for the industry to be more mainstream, to be more entrenched into our economy, and then enrich our ecosystem. And I think this is the year that, or basically next year would be the year where we will see all this flourish into our ecosystem.
And what do you think this means for the citizens of Malta?
Well, they would start exploring new services that until today, these were not being provided. We are already walking the talk as a government. We have been, and we actually established the education certificates on the blockchain last year. And this year we have basically enlarged all this project into all our education institutions. So practically Malta is the first country in the world where all our students receive their education certificates on the blockchain. And then you can speak to these students to see the benefit of this initiative. Now we're seeing this activity expanding into other initiatives in the registry of companies, in the land registry, in the rental contracts, into health, into other identity projects. So there are much more projects in the lineup. And now we're seeing also the fusion of other technologies such as artificial intelligence converging or going hand in hand with technologies such as DLT and blockchain.
Well, amazing. I love how holistic Malta is approaching all of these things. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.